Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, I'm going to go talk about kind of cool subject, because we actually had someone who is a little bit more smarter than I am have a chance to go and discuss and talk about, do we actually even need the PlayStation 5 Pro, Xbox Series X Pro, and all that type of stuff? Why not? And kind of a little bit more on the technical side, and also in terms of the financial side, and also just the general, economic side of the world, and also the fact that we've only had the PS5 for 500 days or so. Same with the Xbox 2 as well. But there's a lot of stuff I want to go talk about in this article, and actually everything that went more in detail was very, very well done, well articulated, and also a fun topic to go talk about. So very first, before we fully dive in this video, because I think it is kind of a good one, number one, I am up in Vegas. As you guys are seeing these videos, you guys see them some kind of chilling, relax, and all that stuff. So if you guys don't mind, we'll get back to the normal quality soon. I just hope you guys all love me in the first place. We even want to hang out with you guys in the first place. And as well, kind of give me your thoughts and comments down below. Do you guys think we should actually have a PS5 Pro as of yet? Do you guys think we should work with the Xbox Series X Pro? Is it even worthwhile? Would you guys even go buy one in the first place? Leave your comments and thoughts down below. And same with the usual sell links with the Amazon links, the Twitter and Twitch streams down below, the Webull Coinbase is down below, and everything else as well down below. And I want to go talk about this, like I said, pretty in depth and in detail, so let's go talk about it. As well as you guys kind of see this all throughout the video, give your thoughts as well. So this article's over here on Eurogamer, over here from Richard Ledbetter, which basically kind of goes a big, deep in depth of, do we actually need the PS5 Pro or Xbox enhanced consoles even for this generation? Is it even also economically even viable as well in the first place? So let's go talk about it. The PlayStation 4 launched up in November 2013, and just 3 years later, Sony followed up with the release of the Pro versions and also the PSVR. So what are the chances of this actually repeating itself for the latest console generation? Now, I know 100% it's going to happen. Without any doubt in my mind, it's going to go and happen. We just don't know when, where, and how they're going to do it. So basically, there's a lot of reasons to bet against the arrival of the enhanced consoles, which is funny because I still think no matter what's going to happen, it might just be a little bit later than we usually expect. So not least because we're still mirrored in the intermittently long cross-gen transition, which is funny because imagine if we had a PS5 Pro come out right this second, and we still had people trying to find the normal PlayStation 5. I think a lot of people would be upset. You guys can leave your thoughts and comments down below as well, but I kind of feel like that's pretty much about it. I think it wouldn't be a good vibe. I really don't think a lot of people would be happy. I think a lot of people would be upset, and I would kind of probably be in the same exact boat, because at the end of the day, I want you guys to have your PS5s, and I also don't want to be the PS5 Pro to come out so quickly that a lot of folks feel bad about buying their PS5. If there was a PS5 Pro that was announced as of this month, I would personally feel bad. But I'm sure people who haven't gotten their PS5s themselves yet probably would appreciate it, but still. So with this one, there's probably, they're kind of more so saying the fact is that they're supporting the brand new breed of HD displays. And basically, it would make a lot of sense too, because right now we still need to have the 8K being proper and consistent. And now if it's actually not proper and consistent, what's the point? Because you don't necessarily have that next level upgrade of 8K and higher hertz as well. So we're kind of still stuck in this baseline because we have to wait for technology and normal folks out there to actually go get their say updated TVs and updated consoles. Because if you don't have it at that point, what's the point? Why do you want to have an 8K gaming gaming console like the PS5 Pro when you can't even go and even buy that normally or even at a somewhat affordable price? Now there is always that small niche of people who like the idea of consoles and stuff like that, but for me, I just don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't think it's that nice. So I kind of want to hear your thoughts and comments as well down below. And one more of the bigger things too is always on the economic side. So the idea that Sony and Microsoft not be even able to afford this, or more so, it'll make it profitable. And I think that would make a lot more sense, if anything. Because with that, and that's why they even have the Xbox Series S, as they mentioned, is that if you can basically barely make money, or it's a loss leader, what's the actual point? Do you really need to go and spend that money to go, let's say you have to go and spend $700 to make a PS5 Pro. Number one, who's actually going to even be buying the PS5 Pro at $700, especially if it's not that much of a big upgrade or more of a tech enthusiast upgrade in comparison, say, to the PS5 as it is right now. I think Sony would rather just go and make more PS5s and spend maybe an extra $20 per console and splurge, because then people might be buying games on, say, maybe upgraded PS Plus, and they'll probably make their money back. Or same with Game Pass for the Xbox. They'd probably make their money back pretty quick. And that's kind of more Microsoft's call. PlayStation 5 is somewhat doing that a little bit with their acquisitions and new PS Plus launches, but not as crazy. So just for that really quickly, just seems like it's just not worth the money. And I would probably agree until the PS5 starts getting dated, especially in comparison, say, to more PC games, same with the Xbox, that maybe you could start working in another iteration, but why not just more so try to have a slightly better and slightly more maybe efficient, or maybe like a Slim where it's very similar stat-wise, maybe slightly better, or maybe a slightly better SSD internally, because, as time goes on, tech gets cheaper to make and produce. But yeah, I feel like we just don't really need it. And as well, obviously, I still want to mention the Xbox Series S, which in all honesty is still probably a big reason why we might just see maybe a third enthusiast generation in the future. Now, I'd probably put that more on, say, like the PS5 disc, PS5 Digital, and then maybe a PS5 Pro for $700, but you can still buy the normal PlayStation 5, kind of how the Switch is. Well, they have the Switch OLED, the Switch Minis, all those type of stuff. Or the Xbox Series X and S, and then maybe next generation they have an Xbox Series Y, and at that point just have the triple generation 2 as well. So basically Microsoft actually made the call to go and launch a cheaper, less capable machine from day one, which still makes sense, because it's like the mid-gen, slim refresh to mixed on in, but then also having the proper Xbox Series X. Although inflation makes the consoles more expensive to make, you also get the Game Pass deals. Chip manufacturer TSMC is also prices on silicon wafers and demanding premiums from some of their bigger clients too as well. So basically, we're still going to probably be expected to pay more money rather than less. And some people would rather pay less money, obviously. So some quotes with this are like Series S have been very impactful for us. As we design our new console for the new generation, we're very much looking forward through the generation to be thinking ahead. Like, how does this work? And that's why we have two consoles. And that's why I wouldn't be that surprised seeing a third console in the future. We are facing a big change in how consoles are designed. And I would agree. Mainly because that's why the PS5 Pro, although we keep on seeing rumors and leaks on it, it's just maybe not as efficient as we kind of even assume. And I love hearing the rumors on it, because I'd probably buy one day one, because I'm a tech enthusiast, I make the YouTube videos on it or whatever. At the end of the day, I don't think a lot of you guys, and maybe even honestly me, really need it at the end of the day. And on top of this too, this basically was for this one, the Xbox 360 was costing us around $460. And then by the end of the generation, just, from tech improvements, it only cost $120. And that was also why they were making so much money by the silicon cost reductions. But as of right now, with everything being more expensive, it's rough. So progress in chip manufacturing technology is also, though, progressing, which might make it easier for a PS5 Pro to be affordable, or Xbox Series X Pro. So 6 nanometer, 5 nanometers, and even 3 are also looking good. And that means similar to the 28 to 16 shift we saw in last generation, chip designers can still integrate more transistors into smaller chips, exactly what made the PS4 Slim and Xbox One. So it's kind of just as technology keeps on improving, we can still have it kind of included on here, which you guys can see in this little chart down below, which kind of shows all the actual chips themselves, which is always really kind of cool. So, it would make sense if they can somehow make it around the same price, because I don't think many people want to pay $700 in the future for a PS5 Pro. Maybe $550, $600, maybe from inflation and overall price points, but everything else, not so much. So they say what the new processes are not bringing any more in good cost reduction, cost per transistor, and so this is the foundational effects impacts to console development, because now we'll get cost reductions, but they're slowing down, and it won't be nearly the magnitudes that we've seen before. And that would also be kind of a big issue, because that's probably why they have the Xbox Series S, and likewise, so they might have maybe multitude of generations. Kind of how for GPUs we have a 3060, 70, 80, 90, and at the end of the day, you can kind of pick and choose and make your console. It's kind of how it is for the Xbox Series X and S. So at the end of the day, I think that would be a nice vibe. If you have 3 different options, you can basically just go in min and max, and if you want to upgrade in the future, maybe do trade-ins or whatever, you can still make money, because GameStop would probably still take them. So this is a big thing too, because as technology typically would advance, the specs might get better, but if you want to keep on maintaining those higher specs, you have to pay more money with the cheaper nodes. So previous generations were kind of easy, because at the beginning of the generation, you make something really expensive, put as much silicone and as much performance as you could into it, and you can just ride the cost down as well, which would make sense too. We, back in the day, I used to see consoles go on sale way cheaper too. So the image shows the above situation that was a part of the last generation, with the PS4 and Xbox One launching in 2013 at 28 nanometers. We saw a fairly large processors, with the move down to 16, as well in 2016. The reduction in cost per transistor opened the door to 2 scenarios: the smaller, cheaper Slim and the Enhanced Pro model. You'll note that generally speaking, the 16 Enhanced processors were the similar size to 2018 originals. The reduction in cost per transistor made a $399 PlayStation 4 Pro possible. Microsoft's more ambitious console with outsized chip and a 12 gigabyte of memory necessitated the price more to $499 a year later, but the same principle applied. So basically, that's a big thing to kind of know, is that a lot of these things are, if they were kind of very similar price points, you can maybe make more money. It's almost like a loss leader where you can sell a PS5 for $500. You basically make it for $480. You make $20. Then maybe 3 years down the road, it'll cost $400. Now you're making even more money, and then maybe a PS5 Pro can relaunch at that same price with new technology and specs and everything else. So like it does kind of make sense to me in my mind because it does open up more consoles and does open up more opportunities and does open up more stuff. But at the end of the day, too, as well, you still have to go and make money. And as technology keeps on getting more and more fine-tuned, if you want that good specs, what gamers obviously do for CPUs, SSDs, and everything else, they want the good. If I'm getting my 3080 Ti, I don't mind paying a premium, but like consoles, not everyone is. Like PC people usually are. So it's kind of crazy to go and see how technology keeps on having it's like a big effect into this. And it does kind of at the end of the day kind of show that we aren't really ready for the PlayStation 5 Pro. In my honest opinion, if we had an Xbox Series X Pro or a PS5 Pro, I just don't think it fit. Now, if they want to maybe try to go do maybe a Pro at maybe $700, maybe like a year from now, or maybe try to go get these fine-tuned points down a little bit cheaper, sure, but I really still think at this point, it's number one, too early, because not everyone even has their consoles yet. Number two, it's only been out for a year and a half. And number three, it wouldn't make it worthwhile for a price point. And number four as well, you just don't really need that many consoles. You don't need to have like 4 different generations all at once. So it's going to be probably very intriguing to see where the future of these consoles go. It'll be very intriguing to go and see what the price points are going to be, the specs, etc. And also if even the next console generation is even going to go and be profitable. And as well as we mentioned too, there's other stuff like technology. Like we don't really have that many like 244 hertz monitors to utilize this stuff for TVs. Same with like 8K. So kind of give me your thoughts and comments down below. This was an interesting topic. And as well, do you guys agree? Do you guys disagree? Do you have different talks and stuff like this? This article is fantastic and in-depth, and it was a really cool article to reference, so big shout out to Eurogamer. And as well, if you guys are brand new, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on, as well for the usual brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway. Amazon links down below for the PS5 digital console controller, Twitter and Twitch room down below, the Weeble and Coinbase down below, and pretty much everything else as well down below. You guys are all fantastic and lovely. I appreciate you guys all so much for being here in general, and like I said, when we have a chance to go talk about all these different types of consoles, it's always fun to see. So I love you guys all. See you guys up on the next one.